It is now 3 o'clock, February 24th, 2019, and we're going to start our Board of Commissioner regular meeting with the roll call.
Chairman Lewis.
Present.
Vice Chair Rose.
Here.
Commissioner Obachowski. Here. Commissioner Henry.
Here.
Commissioner Adair.
Here.
Commissioner Turnbull.
Present.
Commissioner Chenoweth. Present.
Next, we have the approval of the agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion. So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Lewis.
Yes.
Vice Chair Rose.
Yes.
Commissioner Obachowski.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Adair.
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull.
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth.
Yes.
Next, we have public comment on agenda item only.
We'll ask if you come up and stand next to Lily so the cameras can catch you.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Esther Patch. I'm from the Champaign Urbana Tenant Union at 44 East Main Street in downtown Champaign. And I had a few comments on the proposed no trespass policy.
Yes.
One is I'm very glad to see an appeal procedure because that's very important. And that was one of the big complaints about the trespass policy years back was that people didn't know, once you got on, they didn't know how they got on and what to do about it. So it's good that you give people an opportunity. But I would point out, giving people only 5 days to give, after they get the notice to send their appeal is a really short window of time, especially, what makes you think of it is just in the last week I've had a couple of clients who needed to write a letter to their landlord and they called, each of them called to make an appointment for me, basically for me to write the letter for them because they aren't good at writing letters and there are literacy issues and whatnot. So it can take a person several days to find someone to write for them. And so I would suggest if you made that something longer. I mean, 30 days would be nice, but at least something longer than 5 days. That's just a real short period of time. The other thing, and, you know, I confess I'm not happy about, in general, the concept of bans, but when I look at there's a gross disparity here between what's bad and what's really bad and how it's reflected in the policies. Anyone who commits criminal damage to the property is banned for a year. And anyone who's convicted of a felony crime on the property will be banned for 5 years. But then number 3 is any drug-related activity that includes possession, unless you say other than possession, that includes just you had something in your pocket, on or off the property, that person's banned for life. And I don't know what the thinking is behind that, but I think that's just terrible. And coming here today, I'm thinking about a 19-year-old man who gets caught, not even on this property, in a traffic stop with possession of drugs. I don't know exactly how you find out, but now he can't visit grandma for the rest of her life because she's living here. And while you have an appeal process for the initial, when you get put on the list, if you're going to have a lifetime ban for anything, you really ought to have some appeal process for someone at a later date to be able to get taken off the list. Going back to my fictional 19-year-old fellow, okay, so he was caught with, you know, whatever, cocaine in his pocket, and so because, and regardless of what happened to him criminally, just the fact that he was caught on it, you can prove the activity, he's banned for life. 10 years from now, when grandma needs help in the apartment, and he's been through rehab, he's got a job, he's married, he's got a kid. 10 years from now, he still can't come and help grandma here in Steer Place clean her apartment for an inspection or anything like that because he's been banned for life. A lifetime ban is really severe, and for it to include things like being found with drugs off the property just seems to me rather severe and really not necessary to protect your communities. So I hope you will consider making a change to that. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I come to address the board to commend David Northern on his him working with minority and local community contractors. He's created an atmosphere of transparency and inclusion that we haven't seen in the past. I personally have I've gained access to certain projects and stuff. I'm a local electrical contractor because of his willingness to work with the community. And in the past, I haven't seen, I think he set the standard for how institutions should work with local and community contractors. And I hope that in today's vote, he can help us even more with opening a line of credit for local contractors to help facilitate these jobs, because most of the local contractors don't have the relationships, small contractors with the banks that some of the larger ones do. And this right here will be another step of a big change of the environment here in Champaign County. So I just wanted to recommend and thank you, Mr. Lord.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have anyone else who would like to make comments on the agenda item only? If not, this time I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes that was sent out in advance, along with the rest of the board package.
I second.
Didn't hear you.
Okay, I second it, minutes.
No, it's the motion.
Motion.
I'll second.
Sorry about that.
Okay, Lily, did you get that? Okay.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
Okay, it has been properly moved and second. Any discussion or correction? If not, take a vote.
Chairman Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Ochowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Adair,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth.
Yes.
Now we on new business. The first new business is Resolution 2019-02, approval of revised move to work local payment schedule.
And you guys saw in your background, there was a few commissioners that had questions, and we passed it out to all the commissioners related to it. This is an activity that we have so often, where we have a company go out and assess the various areas for possible increases based on our move to work local payment standards. And what we're asking for today is the approval based on the recommendations and the company's assessment of the rents in the area.
Any question by the board?
Even though we increase rents, how does that affect the tenant payments?
Well, it just depends, on various units. But if we increase rents, in some cases, the tenants' payments increase also.
Oh, okay, because I thought their standard was based on the percentage of their income.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the percentage increase was anywhere from 1 to an average of 2%.
Yeah.
The percentage increase was anywhere from 1 to a maximum of a 2.2%. If there are no other questions or concern, we'd like to take a motion.
I'll move Resolution 2019-02, approval of revised MTW local payment standards.
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Ochowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Adair,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull, Commissioner Chenoweth.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is Resolution 2019-03, approval of the 2019 Housing Authority Champaign County operating budget.
So first, I want to just say that our our deputy director of finance and administration is not here because he was blessed to be welcoming a new baby boy, him and his wife. So he's out for a week or so, and he has a healthy baby boy. So we're excited about that. And so Miguel, who's our lead accountant under Matt, is here to go over questions or concerns related to the budget item. Step up, man.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I wanted to point out a few things about the 2019 budget. The first important point is that this budget has been prepared considering on payroll expenses an increase of 3% of the current salaries and a 1% bonus. And this This assumption is what keeps the budget balance. Also, the incorporation of the new position of the deputy director for 2019. Regarding the majority of the operative expenses, a 3% increase has been assumed for 2019 with respect to the actual figures for 2018. Those figures were calculated annualizing the actual amount as of October of 2018. A few additional administrative expenses were considered also for 2019. Salary study at the amount of $10,000 and an HR consultant at the amount of $15,000. Also,
You said 15,000, right?
yeah, 15,000.
Okay, I thought you said 50. I was gonna say, is that ain't what I see?
Well, we got it on paper.
Well, we on camera. We want to make sure, we heard it the right way.
On the move to work activities budget, and by the way, the budget is made out of two basic parts. First, all of the components are presented, and one of the columns has the property management. And then there is another section that has that property management section broken up in the different properties. In the move to work activities, this year we have incorporated a budget of $10,000 for scholarships for education towards employment. A total of 20 scholarships were estimated in that amount. Also, we have incorporated $350,000 for compliance incentive for the first year. This was the amount that was estimated. Also, the move to block utilization amount of $1,169,275 that appears in the move to work column is compensated by that same amount in HCV, offsetting the amount. Marketing and advertisement is also one of the expense accounts that was looked at. We don't estimate an amount as much as 2018, but it should still be important because we will be considering expenses such as a new website. Developer fees income, we estimated $250,000, which was the same amount as the budget for 2018. The HELP funding and HCB administration fees are based on the amounts that we're expecting to receive in 2019. The management fees for the COC fund are based on the fees charged to HCB for the units leased, and the business activities management fees are for property management fees charged to all of the properties. So those are the main points on the general budget. And going specifically to the property budget, Maple Grove rental is considered at, well, basically the amounts of rent that are considered in all the properties are across the board for the 12 months, except for the case of Maple Grove that has 3.1% 2019 OCAF increase for the last month. For Manor at Prairie Crossing, there's also a 3.1% OCAF increase for the last 2 months. And in Washington Square, I want to point out that there's another income of $18,000. And this is referred to the Verizon antenna lease. And the other income in Maple Grove, there's also a 19,700 other income, and that's for the Housing Authority monthly move to work subsidy, which you can also see referred as an expense on the move to work budget. Resident service activities are supposed to increase also for 2019. And that's also reflected on other income on the business activities fund. Those are the points I wanted to point out, and if there's any questions.
Do we have any question from the board? Commissioner Chenoweth?
So thanks for your presentation, and I Nick sent a note about this. I think since you did have a summary of an overview, it would be great in the future to have last year's budget, this year's budget, percent change, which we got the percent changes, and to have a narrative that's like, here's the top, 10 things that are changing, because just having the numbers before us, it really doesn't have, it's numbers. It doesn't give me a context because budgets are only meaningful over time. So just process-wise, that would, I think, at least help me as a commissioner. Couple of questions. We have a new category called other income. Well, it's a category called other income, and there's $140,000 in new income projected. Can you tell me what that is?
In which of the funds?
This is it's in income, and it's called other income, under cash flow distribution, 140,000. It wasn't, there was, a significant variance from last year. I'm just curious.
It's in the central
Is that
office.
under-
column.
It's,
Central
so
office? Yeah.
It's basically central office, yeah.
Oh, central office.
Yeah, central office.
Okay, so what we have there is mainly the expense recoveries from Open Praise and Maple Grove.
Okay.
And that's where that is
Got it.
reflected.
And then the compliance incentive, it's a pretty significant increase from last year of 350,000. So is that the incentive that folks get when they finish the Moving to Work program, and is that new?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's something that's proposed in the new Moving to Work program that we discussed, and we're anticipating 350,000 in 1 year on that?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the activity was already approved, and we are finally installing it and starting to go utilize that activity.
Okay.
So yes, we haven't had an opportunity to utilize that activity as of yet, but it was approved in prior years' MTW plan.
Okay.
We're still waiting in order to get this year's MTW plan approved. HUD still hasn't approved this, so our activities that we propose as far as new ones has not been approved as of yet.
Those are my questions, thank you.
We'll take into consideration your suggestion about how to reflect those spreadsheets.
Okay, thanks.
This is not for audience participation, it's just board participation. Okay. Any other question to Miguel?
I do.
This is not for audience participation. He's addressing the board. You will have an opportunity to speak on, which is already passed, on agenda item only. Do we have any questions from the board? If not, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution 2019-03, approval of the 2019 HAT operating budget.
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rose.
Yes.
Commissioner Ovechowski.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Adair.
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull.
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is Resolution 2019-04, approval of the property budget.
So again, that's the budgets that we have for each
Right.
one of our properties that was passed out for the board also. Is there any general questions that any of the commissioners have related to the property management budgets?
You all went through those already, didn't you?
Right, he already discussed it.
Yeah, he did
Yeah, he did an overview of it. If we have no questions or discussion from the board, I'd like to entertain the motion.
I make a motion that we approve item C, resolution 2019-04, approval of property budgets.
Roll call.
Chairman Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rose.
Yes.
Commissioner Ovechowski.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Adair.
Yeah.
Commissioner Turnbull.
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is Resolution 2019-05, approval of line of credit with Hickory Point Bank.
Now, again, that's an item that we had discussed last board meeting, and that Troy Dean, who spoke earlier, spoke of that also. We passed out the bridge enhancement capacity, along with allowing the Housing Authority to have a line of credit to help minority and small businesses in the area to be a part of projects that we are a part of, along with the financial help. We have a number of partners in the community that provide business plan, application, and the bank is willing also to do financial guidance and help those contractors to become more financially stable and build more capacity. So I think this is a great opportunity where we were able to meet with the local bank and the contractors and decide what we can do as an organization to help foster more involvement from our local minority women, veterans, and disadvantaged business enterprises. And the resolution says up to $250,000. Our first line of credit, we want to, sorry.
No, go ahead.
We starting off with $75,000. Originally, when we talked about it, was $250,000 that we was asking for. So we're starting off with $75,000, not to exceed of $250,000. And as the program continue, as we have a number of projects, for example, Pinewood is a development that we're developing in Urbana, and we're self-developing that. So it'd be great to ensure that we have a lot of participation in that project. So as we continually progress with our legal counsel to ensure that the Housing Authority's financial support with this deal is secured.
What interest would we be charging them?
We will not charge the contract. Well, the only charge the contractors will have will be anything that we're charged. So if a small contractor went out to the normal system in order to gather financing to help in the startup, and what we're talking about startup is already a business. We're looking at the first month of materials and labor, which kind of hurts smaller contractors. And so we'll be assessing the whole overall project to figure out what we should be allowing as startup costs. And in most cases in the market, the interest rate is almost 5%. We worked up a deal with Hickory Point Bank around 3%. So the only thing that we'll ask the contractors back is that we don't lose any funds as a result, and so they'll be charged the 3% funding that we have.
Okay.
So, along with getting additional support of financial guidance and the abilities to, help them become part of these projects.
That's a good rate.
David, the Hickory Point Bank proposal indicates $250,000.
Yes.
Is that the max?
That's the max that we wanted the board to approve us. Our first one, we're starting off with $75,000.
Okay, so those don't have to be the same, those numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got it, okay.
We just didn't. We didn't want to go over $250,000 starting out. But our first step, we don't want to get too large at once. We want to start out with an amount and then move forward and continually grow. So
Okay.
we asked for the max from the board, and then we can move as far as that.
Could you give us a quick overview of how a minority contractor would initiate this?
Okay. Well, first, minority contractor will, one, be a part of our, I gave a breakdown, a summary of the program, but just an overview, the contractor will be a part of our program. Again, we'll provide a part of one of our projects.
Okay.
Right. They'll provide us with information showing their financial net worth and the ability to do the project. And in most cases, if they're a part of our contract already, they have that ability, and they'll show a need, right? And we'll look at their need based on the overall amount of the contract, using whole numbers. If they only have a $100 contract, we're not gonna give them $75, right? So we're gonna give them enough to have that good startup. And by us controlling the funds in terms of drawdowns, and they'll be signing off on paperwork that we get first access to a percentage of that money until that's paid off. So our goal is to securely recapture that money, but allowing them to get that start. So only contractors that sign to work on our projects will be available for this program at this time.
And the last question I have is who oversees this? Is it you or who?
So our goal is to have a committee. The first committee, the review committee, will consist of our finance director, along with our director of capital assets, who's in the trenches dealing with those contractors. They'll recommend final approvals to me to sign off. So that's how our process will work. So it'll be a checks and balance. It'll come from the finance, and we all know Matt's pretty tough in terms of his review. You know, so that's our goal in terms of how the process should work. The first step would be John and Matt to review the contract, which John deals with that on a daily basis, and Matt the financial aspects of it, and they'll make a recommendation to me for approval.
I might add to that I think we're in excellent hands because Matt is a certified public accountant and everything, and he knows his business.
Yes.
He does, and he will not let nothing pass.
And Hickory Point Bank, we have a number of financial partners in the community. The Housing Authority has a number of projects that we work. So we have syndicators and investors throughout. But Hickory Point Bank, is our main banking source, and they've been at the table. They're a local bank, and actually, when we sat down and discussed this, it was a great opportunity to help our minorities and women, veteran, and disadvantaged contractors in the area to be a part of our project.
No. Any other questions? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of resolution 2019-05, approval of line of credit with Hickory Bank.
So moved.
Second.
Up to 200.
Just a statement, Chair Lewis.
Go ahead.
I just want to say fantastic.
Oh.
I think this, and I would like to see once we launch this, and we have some data for how it's going, I would love to see the Housing Authority present to the community, other governmental bodies, other main construction firms, people who are doing this construction in the community, to show them that this is possible and that the Housing Authority has a template. They don't have to make it up from scratch. So, so let us lead the way on this, and let's bring on other entities to do the same. Really good work, very innovative approach. Thank you so much.
Actually, it's been already, some early talks. The city of Champaign, we had some conversations, and RPC, we had some conversations. So we haven't made any, deals or partnerships at this point, but we have talked about the deal, and they both expressed interest in hearing about it and seeing, how maybe we can, open it up and make it wider, maybe in the future. So.
Super.
Yeah. Also want to say, if we were a non-MTW agency, we probably wouldn't be able to do this.
No.
So they gave us another opportunity to do something in the community. So.
There's no further discussion. I'd like to entertain a motion.
I think we have a motion and a second.
Yeah, we had already.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh.
You talking about
I'm entitled to make one mistake a year.
All right, I'm jotting it down right now. That's the one.
Roll call.
Chairman Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rowe.
Yes.
Commissioner Ovechowski.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Adair.
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull.
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth.
Yes.
Next up for discussion is construction of a bridge loan financing program.
And that's what we have in kind of the overview that I gave you today. We don't really need a resolution for it, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys also approve the program and show that we have a detailed program in our midst to work through.
Okay. Next, I would like to table the no trespass policy and take another look at
What,
it.
you guys gonna vote on approval? Even if we don't need a resolution, you can vote on approval.
Talking about the bridge
Oh,
loan.
the bridge loan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just
I'd
one.
like to entertain the motion for the approval of the construction bridge loan financing program.
So moved.
Second.
Aye. Okay.
Got three people saying the same thing.
Roll call.
Chairman Lewis.
Yes.
Vice Chair Rowe.
Yes.
Commissioner Ovechowski.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Adair.
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull.
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth.
Yes.
So just so the audience and anybody watching understand what happened, the first resolution was for the line of credit. That's a financial activity, and with all major financial activities, we do a resolution. The second was just for the program. We just asked for board approval. So that's why it was 2 actions taken for that activity.
Next, I'd like to entertain a motion to table the no trespass
So
policy.
moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Chairman Lewis.
Yes.
Vice Chair Rose.
Yes.
Commissioner Ochowski.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Adair.
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull.
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth.
Yes.
Okay. Next, we will hear a report from Chief Executive Officer.
Well, first I want to say, one, thank you for you guys' support. Since I've been here, it's been amazing. The level of work our team's been able to do together with our partners has been great. One of the goals that I had coming in from my board was to ensure that we build capacity within our organization, and we fill positions and ensure that we have an ongoing succession plan. And so today we have our hire as Deputy Executive Director, Tiffany Gonzalez, who's here. She officially don't start until March 25th. However, she came just to say hi at the board meeting today, so I just wanted to allow her to come up and say a few words, if you guys don't mind.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here today and hiring me. I'm very, very, very excited to be here. I've worked in the housing industry this is my 20th year. I started off as a specialist and I've worked my way up through to deputy director. And so again, I'm just excited to be here and I'm looking forward to growing and moving forward together with you.
Okay.
Thank you, Tiffany. March 25th. And so she's very excited now. We're going to see how excited she is when we put her to work. We'll check back to make sure she's excited.
Equally as excited.
But I just want to just add, if it's okay, just that, I've had the great pleasure of knowing Tiffany and working with her at times, and I know she, as a young person, as she mentioned, she worked her way up and overcame a lot of obstacles at one point as a single mom. And so with our program being moving to work and focusing on that prospect of our clients overcoming those obstacles, moving along that spectrum, I'm just happy to have her, somebody that's been there and done that also along. I have a maximum amount of trust in her. So I'm just so excited. And thank you for allowing us to sneak you up here. So. Well, down here in a sense. So. All right, so next we want to present our Employee of the Month this month. So this month's Employee of the Month is Ashley Short. Would you come to the front, please, Ashley?
About time.
So actually is one of my employees. So I supervise the director. I didn't submit her name, but she does great work. So Ashley's been with us for about 8 months now. Her position is the executive secretary, and she does a lot of work. All those notices that you get out in the community, that's Ashley's work. A lot of the flyers that she put together, that's her work. She performed in terms of a lot of our activities. A lot of the activities that we perform throughout the community as a team is spearheaded a lot of times out of the executive office. And so she does a great job, and her co-workers, along with myself, totally appreciate what she's offered. I know all the board members had an opportunity to deal with her here and there. And so I'm just happy that she's allowing, decided to come work for us and giving us this, great asset as a team player. So congratulations, Ashley, for your hard work.
Smile, Ashley.
I want to say thank you. Thank you for bringing me on to the staff. I enjoy working here. I communicate with a lot of community partners, residents, and our staff. And I continue to make this work environment the best that I can do.
Thank you. Well, you get a certificate, a gift card, Employee of the Month shirt, and a trophy. So while you're here, you might as well talk about, so we had a great Super Bowl party. So Ashley was one. So what we try to do is, I call it sharing the wealth. And so instead of having one person, lead all the projects, we allow people to share. So Ashley was over the Homeless Super Bowl Resource Fair, which was an amazing support that some of you guys attended and some of you guys heard about. So I just wanted her to say a few words about that for you guys today that may have not had that opportunity to be there.
So I was asked by Mr. Northern to do the Super Bowl resource party for the homeless.
Right.
I worked with staff and we sent out letters. We went face to face to shelters, and from within 3 weeks we were able to secure a location from the city of Champaign Township with Andrew, and Hickory Bank sponsored it. We also had Jane Barham, who provided hats, gloves, scarves, as well as Mobile Clinic, who provided health services, on-the-spot blood pressure checks. From that 3 weeks, we were able to raise over $1,500, and we had so much clothing, toiletries, food donations that after the event ended, we gave those donations to local shelters throughout Champaign County.
So again, thank you for that. The whole team deserve a hand for that. And a number of our landlords and contractors, and I think a few of them is in the audience, if you guys want to raise your hand, supported that event in terms of purchasing items or giving cash. So we appreciate you guys, because what we do is for the support of our community. So thank you again also. Next, I want to ask Candace to come up. And we had another decent event. Actually, when we planned these two activities, we didn't realize it was on the same weekend. And so, along with the Homeless Super Bowl party, we also had a Princess Night Out, which was a combination of us partnering, going to the Champaign Park District's Daddy's Daughters Dance. Daddy's Daughters Dance, yeah. Thank you.
So what we did was we selected a group of participants to participate in our Princess Night Out. They were between the ages of 8 and 10 years old, and we had a pre-celebration party at HACC. And then afterwards, we took them to the Champaign Park District, their Dancing with Dad in Hollywood event, which is the Daddy-Daughter Dance. We raised a total of $950 in a very short period of time, which paid for the girls' attire, their dinner, their registration, and their food costs. And I just want to stress the fact that all of our girls came from single-parent households, so this really meant a lot to them. They wouldn't normally get an opportunity to do such a thing, so it was really a chance of a lifetime for them.
So thank you for all your work in it. And I'm sure some of the same people that helped in the Homeless Super Bowl helped in that also. So again, thank you guys. For those people that may not be here, thank them also. I did provide a full detail of the various activities that I had in terms of my report. I mentioned a couple things. We have a very robust opportunity where we're starting to do landlord recruitment, and we have a plan where we're having landlord briefings and other types of activities, and one of those including a landlord recruitment film that was filmed, and we're reviewing the final film now. A few of our landlords and staff was a part of it, and so look forward to that coming out. One of our commissioners, Dr. Henry, was selected by the Illinois NARO to be vice president for the commissioners. So congratulations to Dr. Henry. So he'll be overseeing all the state commissioners. As we talked, another item, a few other important items that we discussed that we want to have done. We want to have a contract with an HR person that's executed and is going. A salary study has already started, so we have a salary study, which is time to take a look at the staff salaries. ADP, time management. Right now we have boxes and boxes of paperwork, and I have to sign time sheets every 2 weeks. And so now ADP is in process of being installed, which will cut back a lot of that paper and that extra time. A lot of our human resources items will be on ADP. Individuals will be able to log in and request off or electric time cards. When we need our when we need our staff to sign off on personnel policies or any updates, it'll be sent to them, and also it comes with training. So we'll be setting up training for our staff to have so many trainings a year where we can track that and ensure they have those trainings that they need. So I'm excited about that coming to fruition. Along with, lastly, we had started a partnership with Chris, who's in our senior buildings now working with our clients, and they started in this last month. They was able to get in and start at our number of our locations. Through our construction, it's been delayed a little, but they're here now. So again, I'm just excited with what we've been able to accomplish in a short time, and I'm excited more about the future. So if the commissioners don't have any other questions from me related to the activities that I've mentioned and talked about, I'll start the departmental reports. Thanks. We'll start with the development department. John, could you come up, please?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
In your packet, I think my report and Cindy's report we kind of walk on each other sometimes. So I'll start with hers. At Bristol Place, they started framing some houses. We had a little issue with some connectors in the framework for the floor trusses, and that's been resolved, and they're working again today. And also due to the weather, we haven't poured any more foundation since last month. When it gets warm enough to pour concrete, it rains. So that's been at a kind of a standstill there, but we're back to work framing again, so that part is good. The Haven, which is our replacement for Skelton Place, we just had our draw meeting yesterday. Same thing there, it's weather. They poured footings for the first foundation for one of the flats buildings. That's pretty much all the progress we've made there, other than finalizing fixture selections and that type of thing. Oakfield Place, you can see in Cindy's report that they're working on their funding for that. Pinewood Place, that came up last month, we have closed on the property. We own it now. And I and the architect, Tyson and Billy Architects, we've had 2 meetings with the city of Urbana. We met just with the engineering department first for the stormwater and drainage on the lot. There has been an issue there. We're going to work together with the city to resolve. They're going to partner with us in some of the expense, which is good. And then we met Monday, I guess, with there's a committee with the city where all the departments that would be involved come. So you've got engineering, planning, zoning, the fire department's there, the police are there, everybody that would be connected to that property. Park District was involved, trying to head off any kind of delays or mistakes that we would make with our plan submissions. So we made it through that meeting, got some suggestions. We're going to make a couple changes. And once we get the site plan done, the buildings are basically an off-the-shelf design. I mean, there's only so much you can do with 750 square foot apartment. So that part will be easy. We need to get the civil part done first, so we're well on our way down there. Urbana Townhomes and Arts, this is from Cindy's report. We've kind of withdrawn from parts of that project, and it's kind of connected with Urbana Townhomes because of Aspen Court, which was the old what was it called? Scotswood Manor, yes. Oh. So it's Aspen Court. We were actually involved in that in the beginning. We couldn't get the numbers together with the developer. Someone else has moved into that project. They got a 9% tax credit approval. So our project is right next door, so we can't apply. So that's kind of in flux right now, but we'll get back to that. And then Cindy's working on some tax credit applications in various rural sites for us to move for building more affordable housing there. Let's see. The new office, everybody's asking. We're hanging doors and trimming out windows, so we're almost there. I need some warm weather when it doesn't rain to pour the parking lot up to the front door. So I should have the interior of the building should be completed. I would like to have next month's board meeting there.
Okay.
I hope.
Cross our
Once you get
fingers.
really close, we'll make it work. And then our rad renovations. We're 98% of what's left is actually this area right here, so I pardon the dust. And that we should be able to close that out in 30 days. That's been going on quite a while. Had lots of changes in that, but we're just about done. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
very
Thank you,
much.
John. All right, next I'm gonna ask Tamika to come up to give the voucher report. I know she has some appointments she has to get to a little later, so we'll allow her to step in front and give her report.
Thank you. Just briefly, for the January occupancy report, overall.
Hold on. That's on page 31 if the commissioners want to follow along. 30 and 31. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Overall, we are at 90% for units occupied. There probably will be a slight decrease just due to the shutdown. Because the federal government, we have started reissuing from the waiting list and things like that, so it will go up. But it may be a small decrease that you will see next month. Because we had stopped issuing out vouchers from January up until the shutdown was over. And so that is really it. The recertifications and everything else is going very well. The quality control review, we continue to see upper 90% as far as the accuracy of our files and things such as that.
Any questions? Thank you. Thanks, Tamika. We can go back in order. Who's next? Mr. Robin? LSS.
So just a brief report on LSS. I put some graphs and charts in the report that just reflects the progress we've made at trying to capture all the referrals we've made out to our community partners. So back in October, there's a chart in there that reflects, that we had 15 outside referrals. So when people came to us for non-compliance, we referred out to 15 providers. The next one shows what we've done since December until through January, and it's gone up to 48 provider referrals out in the community. So we're really trying to capture those numbers a lot better. And as you can see, they've gone up. So we're doing it, and we're going to keep doing it. So a couple other numbers. Since January, we've gotten 125 referrals from the PBVs for Housing Choice Voucher Department. People are either non-compliant, they're not always non-compliant. Sometimes they're just coming to us to get more resources so we can continue to refer out in the community. Currently, we only have 3 families that are under proposed termination and 25 families under a 90-day to get in compliance. So we're doing pretty good.
Thank you. Robin?
I'm going to be quick too. So from the RAD property portfolio, from the occupied units or the vacancies, we're actually currently at 97% occupied for Washington Square. 94% currently for Steer Place, so we're getting up there, and I know that there's another move-in for Washington Square tomorrow. So that's good. Columbia Place has a move-in tomorrow as well. The RAD renovations are complete there, so the apartments that were offline will be put back online, and then we'll lease those up. Oakwood Trace, I had 46 vacants when this report was written. Right now, I had 46 occupied. Currently, I have 48, so we're at 96%. The total accounts receivable was just over $2,000. That's down to $80 right now, so people paid up. One more thing, attached.
That's on page 28. I was just letting them know so that.
Champaign Police Department has this thing called crime mapping that I signed up for, and then you can put addresses in, but it's only for Champaign. Urbana doesn't have it. So I signed up for that, and what that is if there's crimes that happen within a certain area, I think like a 5-block area of your addresses, you'll get emails from what the crimes were. From that, I go to the Champaign Police Department's website and get on their media reports, and then I can find out what happened, who was arrested, and then if actions need to be taken, then we can take the actions.
Any questions for Robin? All right. Well, I think that's all we have, but it's related to reports. Last couple things I just want to mention is that I gave each one of the commissioners our 2018 annual report related to our MTW program and the study that we have a partnership with the University of Illinois evaluation team. And so I provided it today, and we hope next month they'll be able to come in and give a board report. And so I wanted to give the commissioners an opportunity to take a look at it and review it. I'll also email it out to you guys so that if you would like to utilize it on your computer, so be prepared for the presentation. So finally, I was fortunate to participate at the University of Illinois. They had a great activity where they brought a number of speakers in and had some panels related to what was called future and resilient urban communities. And I was on a panel and I talked about the evolving of affordable housing and HUD over the years. So it was a great opportunity to learn from some of the great professors. And you know, I joked with with my wife that I had probably the lowest GPA of everybody on the panels, and that's because everybody had a PhD but me. But so I was fortunate to be a part of that, and I was just thankful that I was able to add to that conversation. So
you had a PhD in skills, though.
Yeah, skill sets. Yeah. But that's the degree meal stuff. So I can just send my information in. So with that said, sir, I can end my report unless you have any other questions.
Thank you for the temporary report, and continue to do the excellent job that you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have the financial reports.
Okay.
On page 34, we have cash disbursements for the month of January, which were $1,048,837. I would like to bring your attention to the most significant disbursements. On page 35, we had a payment to Building Systems of Illinois for $402,378, which is referred out of that amount, $163,574 were for the new office, and the remaining $238,804 were for RAD critical repairs. The next item is in page 41, with the total on page 42. We paid MRI software $47,395, out of which $38,053 were for service for 2019, and the remaining $9,341 were for services for 2018. The next item in that same page, we have in page 42, we have Indiana Furniture. 143,880 were paid for furniture for the new office. And then the next item on page 43, Robert's Office Products, 38,308 was also furniture for the new office. So those two items, these two different vendors, we paid a total of over $182,000 for new furniture. And finally, on page 44, again, the vendor Building Systems of Illinois, a disbursement of $296,214, out of which $209,301 were for the new office, and the remaining $86,913 were for RAD critical repairs. Those were the main disbursements for the month of January.
And just to follow up on one thing that he mentioned, it was a number of items that he talked about related to our new office, and that's something that the Housing Authority made a decision a while ago to invest in, and are almost complete with the rehab and the furniture for it. Just so the public will know that all the furniture that we had in our old office was donated to the local charities in preparation of replacing and moving into our new office. So we just didn't make the decision to go out and buy new furniture. We wanted to make sure we bought the appropriate furniture for the new office, but all the old furniture was donated to the local charities. And one of the charities took close to 5 offices worth of furniture. They didn't have any office furniture, so we really helped them start up pretty well. So.
That furniture was way outdated anyway, and that stuff was so heavy it'd take 20 to 30 people. It was terrible. I was gonna get a cabinet, and that thing I would have to get 10 men to move it.
Why didn't you just get 2 men in the truck?
They wouldn't have been able to move that.
Do we have any questions for Miguel related to the financial report?
We have no question. I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of the financial report of January 2019 cash disbursement and detailed check report.
So moved.
Roll call.
Chairman Lewis,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Ovechowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Adair,
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth.
Now, do we have any public comment on non-agenda item only? If so, please come up front.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Linda Long. I live at Steer Place. I'd like to direct my question to Mr. Northern. There's some residents in here that has voiced their opinions about the sex offenders that are moving into the building. What is the policy of the Housing Authority of Champaign County about sex offenders?
Well, let me answer. This is open. This is not a question and answer session, but I can answer if you need to. All right. So normally this is not a question and answer session, but it's a public comment. But I'll answer the question. So related to our lease around sex offenders, lifetime banned sex offenders aren't allowed to lease in our properties, but sex offenders that's not lifetime have the opportunity to be leased up in our properties.
So if they're 10-year sex offenders?
Lifetime. Lifetime is life. If they're 10-year, they're not lifetime. So only lifetime is banned from our properties, and that's the federal guidelines from the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, no problem. And I make sure the property manager follow up to just point out those details for you around it. Okay.
Matter of fact, that was in the class we had this weekend.
Yeah.
Do we have anybody else on non-agenda item? If not, is there a need for a closed session?
There is for employment matters.
Okay.
I just like to make a comment.
Before,
just a short.
Before we go into closed session?
Yeah, it's just.
Okay. Commissioner Henry would like to make a comment before we entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I would just like to say that Tuesday and Wednesday, I had an opportunity to attend the 2019 Governor's Conference on Affordable Housing. And a lot of things that we talked that was on our agenda today was information that we got at that conference. And I also wanted to state that I met several of Mr. Northern's colleagues from Lake County, and they had nothing but great things to say about him. And I think his tenure here, 7 to 8 months or 9 months, I think we are starting to see the fruition of what he has brought to our housing authority. I think in this short time, we're already viewed as an exemplary housing authority in the state. I mean, I met people from Joliet, all over really. I mean, before he came here, he connected with so many people, and they have nothing but the highest regard. And I think it's really important because the things that he's brought, such as the Super Bowl party and the resource activity that we had, and his dance for is just very, very important to this community. And not only that, people in this community have come up and said such great things. So we've got a great springboard, and I just think that it's kind of contagious. We're just building off of it, and I think it's contributed to his efforts and the people that he has brought here to support him in his efforts. So you'll be hearing a lot of things nationally about the housing authority of Champaign County. So
Yeah,
I appreciate everything you folks are doing too.
Yes, so also to piggyback off of that, David, steel etiquettes are very brilliant. He's a young man with a lot of skills, and he's done a great job in just a short period of time, so you can imagine over a long period of time what he's going to do. So it just gives you the enlightenment that we have never had a person of his quality on Housing Authority before, and we're grateful and blessed to have him a part of this. And I'm saying the people in the community are grateful and blessed, because just like he said, there's been people come up, even then when he gave the Super Bowl, it was Caucasians, African Americans, everybody going like, oh my God, you guys got a, ooh, where'd you get him from? Hallelujah, we didn't get him, he came to us. But that's about it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I want to say thank you, but like really, just like anybody, it's a team effort. I was fortunate to get a solid team already, and you guys, was looking for a certain type of leadership, and the team was just ready in place, and we made a few twerks here and there, and then we hit the ground running. So I just appreciate your support, the community support, and our amazing team members that we have in terms of the support. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion from one of the Board of Commission to go into a closed session for discussion of hiring, fine, or continuing employment for a specific employee.
And for litigation.
And possible litigation.
Okay.
Are we going to take any action after?
Yeah, you gotta come back.
Yeah, we'll come back after.
Need a motion?
Need a motion.
Motion? I'm gonna entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we move into closed sessions for the discussion of the hiring, firing, or continued employment of a specific employee and the probability of imminent litigation.
I second it.
Okay.
Second.
Roll call?
Chairman Lewis?
Yes.
Vice Chair Rose?
Yes.
Commissioner Ovechowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Adair?
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull?
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth?
Yes.
Roll call?
Chairman Lewis?
Present.
Vice Chair Rose?
Here.
Commissioner Ovechowski?
Here.
Commissioner Henry?
Here.
Commissioner Adair?
Here.
Commissioner Turnbull?
Here.
Commissioner Chenoweth? Here.
And we have one action item to take care of, and that deals with salary and bonuses, and I'd like to have a motion in that regard.
I make a motion that we give the employees a 1 to 3% increase and a 1 to 3% bonus, and this would be based on the individual and department performances.
Evaluation. Roll call?
Chairman Lewis?
Yes.
Vice Chair Rose?
Yes.
Commissioner Ovechowski?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Adair?
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull?
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth? Yes.
I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yeah. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
So,
Roll call?
Chairman Lewis?
Yes.
Vice Chair Rose.
Yes.
Commissioner Ovechowski.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Adair.
Yes.
Commissioner Turnbull.
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth.
Yes.